If you want to build a stronger and more athletic body, do this one thing. Strength train with one kettlebell. I know, one kettlebell sounds counterintuitive. Right now, the sexy thing is training with double kettlebells, and there's a lot of value in using two kettlebells. Anything athletic, for the most part, is done on one side. Done with one arm. Throwing a baseball, throwing a football, throwing a punch, throwing a kick. All done with one arm or one limb. You don't throw a punch with two arms at the same time. If you're training jiu-jitsu, you're gripping things asymmetrically. You're not pushing with your arms even. One arm's grabbing the lapel, one arm's grabbing the collar, right? Nothing is symmetrical. So strength training with one kettlebell trains your body asymmetrically. It also allows you to clear up asymmetries, training one side of the body at a time. But also, strength training with one kettlebell even allows you to build lean muscle mass. And you're probably thinking, well, you can probably build more muscle with two kettlebells. Potentially. But think about it. Training with two kettlebells is almost like training with a barbell. Again, this is not me knocking double kettlebells because I've got several double kettlebell programs. But for the last 2 years, I've pretty much been just using one kettlebell for several reasons. One, less is more philosophy, less is more approach, high accessibility, fewer moving parts. Right? One kettlebell, you can take that anywhere you go. But you have great potential in building muscle with one kettlebell. Why? How? Well, one, through cross-body stabilization, so you're going to build a more symmetrical body. And two, more muscle activation. Do this quick little experiment the next time you're going to use a kettlebell. And use a moderately heavy kettlebell. What's a moderately heavy kettlebell? For guys, 24 kilos up to 32. Ladies, 12 up to like 20. Maybe even 24 for some of you strong ladies that are out there. Swing the kettlebell with two hands. When you swing a kettlebell with two hands, you can produce more power, right? You're more dynamic. You're holding onto the bell with two hands. You're symmetrical, right? Which is why you can barbell deadlift more with two arms than you can with one arm. Now try to swing that same kettlebell with one hand. You're going to feel your whole entire body light up. So while symmetrical load, two kettlebells, double hand kettlebell swing, barbell deadlift, whatever, you can produce more power, you can get stronger, but you're not activating as much muscle. One-handed swing, one-handed movements stimulates more muscle. When you stimulate more muscle, you have a greater potential for building muscle. Now, the one downside with one kettlebell is, you're limited on weight. And I think that's the downside to kettlebells in general. You can't really vary the intensity as much like you can a barbell, right? But what we lack in intensity with a kettlebell, we can make up for in effort. Effort and intensity are not the same thing. Think about a push-up, right? You could probably do 10, 20, 30 push-ups, get that big muscle burn. The intensity is low because you can do 30 push-ups, but the effort is high. And that's what it's like to use one kettlebell. What we lack in intensity, weight, we make up in effort. While you may not be able to swing as heavy of a kettlebell one hand as you can two hands, but we make up for it in effort. More muscle stimulation, better quality gains. Just like bodybuilding. Bodybuilding, it's a higher effort, right? You're getting lots of reps in. You got to get that volume in to build muscle mass. The whole point here is, if you're strength training with kettlebells, if you're doing jiu-jitsu, you want to use a method that allows you to train as heavy as possible, as often as possible, but while staying as fresh as possible. And that's what single kettlebell training does, and ultimately leads to you building a more athletic body. Why should you care about any of that? Well, if you're doing things like jiu-jitsu, the goal is for the strength training to carry over and to serve you on the mat, not rob from it. So when you strength train with one kettlebell, you reap all the benefits, all the strength training, all the power. You reap the athleticism without the cost, because everything has a cost. So if you want to build a more athletic body, so you can excel in things like jiu-jitsu, train often while getting injured less, train with one kettlebell.